It's been 2 weeks since Will Smith slapped Chris Rock in the face at the Oscars, which has led to something that is bigger than I think anyone ever thought. As a result, Will Smith has been banned from the Oscars for 10 years. But Chris Rock has been strangely quiet about all of this. Obviously, that first time that he went up on stage a couple days after the Oscars during his comedy tour, he said he's not going to talk about it yet. He's still processing all the things that are going on. He had all these jokes already planned out. Maybe he'll talk about it at some point in the future. Well, Chris Rock said something the other night and reportedly has done something that might be very interesting. It might look like Chris Rock is finally going to do something about all of this. Chris Rock says he won't talk about Will Smith Oscars slap, quote, until I get paid during comedy set. Now, that's led to a lot of speculation. What does he mean by that? Let's get the full context first, and then we'll talk about it. And we'll also talk about Chris Rock reportedly hiring NYC leading law firm. But we'll get to that in a second. Comedian Chris Rock is not talking about being slapped by actor Will Smith at this year's Oscars yet, telling fans at one of his shows on Friday he won't address it until he gets paid. I'm okay. I have a whole show, and I'm not talking about that until I get paid. Life is good. I got my hearing back, Rock said at Friday night during a show at the Fantasy Springs in Indio, California, according to a report by the Desert Sun. Instead, Rock reportedly made jokes about Hillary Clinton, the Kardashians, Meghan Markle, and the comedian also poked fun at woke corporations and people in general feeling scared of offending anyone for any reason. Very interesting. Cell phones were not allowed in the building. That is pretty common. For guys like this, it's pretty common for cell phones to not be allowed in the building. Now, what a lot of people are looking at and saying are, what does he mean by get paid? Because as someone else points out over here on TMZ, the strange thing is, if Chris Rock means he's waiting on a network of some sort to pay him for a sit down, you have to imagine him and his team have already been approached by every broadcast company in the game at this point. Maybe they haven't offered enough. Of course, another slightly more sinister way to interpret his remarks would be a civil lawsuit against Will himself, where he could potentially get paid in that way too. Not only against Will, but potentially against the Oscars, maybe for not protecting him. Who knows? Who knows what it could potentially be? But it does make this report all that more interesting. Chris Rock hires NYC leading law firm, possible plans to sue Will Smith and the Oscars. MTO News confirmed yesterday Chris Rock was discovered inside one of the largest procedural law firms in the country. A person who works at the company told MTO News Chris Rock is a, quote, new customer for the company. The white shoe law firm that Chris chose to work for has handled some of the biggest lawsuits in history, including those involving Google, the NFL, and Microsoft. The move could signal that Chris is exploring a potential lawsuit against Will Smith, the Academy, or both. Chris is in an office meeting with partners from the litigation team. Whatever they're saying, it's huge based on the number of attorneys at the meetings. That's no confirmation at all in any shape or form. It doesn't mean that he's going to sue Will Smith. It doesn't mean that he's going to sue the Oscars. But, it certainly is interesting, isn't it? I mean, Chris Rock could definitely have a sit-down interview with somebody and get paid to tell this story, get a pretty penny for an ABC exclusive, whatever it may be. But he hasn't yet. He hasn't even talked about it on the comedy tour yet, because maybe he is making sure to preserve all of this stuff, making sure he doesn't go out there and say anything that could affect a potential lawsuit down the road. Do you think Chris Rock should sue Will Smith, should sue the Oscars? I don't know. But I do know if it happens, it's going to be absolutely massive. Chris Rock keeping it very close to the vest, but he can't help but let a little bit of what he's planning leak.